luxury. By Academy Sports and Outdoors, donating $100 for each Astros home run and $200 for each Correa home run to Houston Children's Charity. And by Southwest Airlines, yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency.
We're here today celebrating the season along with you. It's Fan Appreciation Day, but I'm telling you, fans are telling me how much they appreciate the voice of Brownie. It's been awesome to work with you. It's been so great to work alongside you and to learn how to break into the big leagues and to broadcast a game on the highest level. So I thank you. I know our entire cast and crew, our family really thanks you for everything you've done in your career. And I know now you want to call some baseball, don't you, Brownie?
Yeah, I'm your biggest fan, Julia. Thank you. Doug Fister throwing, and there's strike one on his first pitch of the day to Nori Aoki. as the Astros and the Mariners decide this 3-game series. 274 for Aoki. 3 homers, 25 runs batted in. He's hit well against the Astros also. 325. Pitch to the former Mariner. Off his glove, he deflects it out to shortstop, and that's going to be an infield hit. A comebacker, but Doug couldn't get it in his glove, and the deflection takes it out to Correa for an infield hit for Aoki. It's Nori Aoki in left field leading it off. Seth Smith is the right fielder batting second. Robinson Cano hits third. Playing second base, the DH is Nelson Cruz with Kyle Seager at third base, Adam Lind at first, Leonis Martin the center fielder, Mike Zunino's the catcher, and Ketel Marte is at shortstop. The pitcher is lefty James Paxton. Pfister on the mound with a 12-12 record, facing Smith now. Hit number 1 of the game puts Aoki at first. He has 7 steals and 16 tries. Smith takes ball 1. 253 for him with 16 homers, 61 runs batted in. Number 2 hitter can provide some power, Alan Ashby.
He's a good hitter, and he's a selective hitter. He'll take a lot of pitches.
Takes that changeup, and it's 2-0 now. Very favorable count for Smith. Smith is 3 for 16 with 2 homers against Pfister in his career. He's gone 0 for 11 on this road trip for the Mariners. Another changeup misses. It's 3-0. The home plate umpire is Jim Wolf. Final home game for the Astros. They are 43-37 at Minute Maid Park. The Astros 2-4 on this homestand. That's a 4-pitch walk, and it's immediate trouble for Pfister, who failed to field the comebacker and now walks Smith on 4, facing Robinson Cano, who certainly is at the forefront of the Astros all nemesis team this year with 8 homers, 22 runs batted in against them.
See some of the numbers on Doug Pfister here recently. It has not gone all that well. Certainly the month of September has been rough. High batting average against. Last time out against Seattle, roughed up to the tune of 3 2/3 innings, 7 earnings against him. And you see the numbers in the month of September. 0-3 opponent's batting average almost at 400.
Cano with 35 homers takes ball 1, and Pfister is searching for that strike zone now. Cano has driven in 94. He's hit 440 during a 12-game hitting streak at Minute Maid Park. This season in 9 games he's hit 6 homers and driven in 11 runs here. Cano hit 2 homers Monday night in Seattle's 4-3 11-inning win. And now it's 2 balls, no strikes to Cano.
Doesn't matter how close the pitches are right now. Nothing is in the mind of Jim Wolf in that strike zone.
At one point this season, the Astros won 10 straight Doug Pfister starts. Last time out against the Angels, he got a no decision, going 5 innings, giving up 2 earned runs. He's lost his last 4 decisions. And there's a strike to make it 2-1.
Still trying to work that outside edge.
The Mariners have hit just 159 with runners in scoring position their last 8 games, going 11 for 69. The Astros rallied to win last night's game 8-4 with a 6-run 6th. To left field and hit deep. This one's headed for the Crawford boxes. That's an opposite field 3-run homer for Robinson Cano. 36th home run for Cano. And it's 3-0 Seattle, giving Cano 97 runs batted in. He now has 9 homers, 25 runs batted in against the Astros in 2016.
Take a look now at the MD Anderson strike zone as we kind of dissect what's going on with Doug Pfister. Just leaves it up out over the plate. Cano likes to pull the ball for most of his home runs, but at the same time has the ability to go the other way. And with those Crawford boxes right there, it's pretty convenient for the left-hand hitter.
It's a quick attack from the Mariners, leading 3-0 with nobody out. Nelson Cruz follows. Looking at ball 1. 288 for Cruz. He's gone deep 41 times. He's 4th in homers in the American League. He taps that one foul. He's hit 9 home runs in the month of September. 1-1 on the veteran Cruz. Cruz is on a current 5-game hitting streak with 10 hits and 22 at-bats. Kevin Chapman is up in the Astros bullpen already. Cruz hits a 1-hopper to third base. Alex Bregman throws him out. Bregman in the starting lineup after missing the last 2 weeks with a hamstring injury. He had a surprise return. He was expected to miss the rest of the regular season, but last night as a pinch hitter came up in the 6th inning and drove in a key run. And now he is in the starting lineup at third base.
Rather remarkable.
Really is. Kyle Seager bats next. He has 29 home runs this season. Shoots that one to left field, and he's on with a hit. Well, the Mariners continue on the attack here with a Seager single, bringing up Adam Lynn.
Well, I will say here in the first inning that up and away fastball on left-hand hitters is not making it.
Brent Strom is coming out, the Astros pitching coach, to try to help Fister solve his first inning dilemma. Tough start and a very important game.
That's a tough message to try to run to the mound in the first inning. You've just been together in the bullpen warming up, preparing for the ball game, and suddenly 4 hitters in, or 5 as it turns out. You're in a really rough spot.
Fister, the former Mariner, at 6'8", is 4-2 lifetime against Seattle with a 4.64 ERA. Lynn is the batter. Adam at 237 with 20 homers has driven in 58. And there's strike 1 to him. The Mariners have now scored 741 runs this season. The Astros lead the season series against them 11-7. That's a strike. 0-2. They're a very good slugging bunch, especially with the left-handed hitters they have. And we've seen that, especially with Cano. Seager's hit well against Houston. Curveball strikes out Lynn. 2 outs.
Pretty good over the top breaking ball to get the strikeout. And it's unusual, I would think, to go this far before bringing the breaking ball after seeing fastballs miss and then get hit hard.
Yes, it is. Leonis Martin with strike 1. Behind in the count with a 243 average, 15 homers, 44 runs batted in. It's 0-2 now. This mixture is working better for Doug as he works in the breaking stuff. On September 18th, 10 days ago at Seattle, he lost 7-3, giving up 7 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings. This is his 5th outing of the year against the Mariners. He is 2-2 this season against them. His ERA against them is 6.86 for those previous 4 starts, giving up 16 earned runs in 21 innings. In the dirt, here's the runner advancing, and the throw is there for the tag by Correa. Evan Gattis makes the throw to get Seager. 2-6 to end the top of the first with 3 runs scoring on 3 hits. Here's the final out, and the Astros come up in just a moment. So great. Mariners 3, Astros coming up now with this Astros starting lineup brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It's George Springer leading off in right field. It's Alex Bregman at third base. Jose Altuve playing second. That's third. Carlos Correa is the cleanup man at shortstop. With Evan Gattis the catcher, Marlon Gonzalez at first base, Yuli Gurriel the DH, Teoscar Hernandez in left field, Jake Marisnick in center field.
And on the mound for Seattle, 27-year-old left-hander James Paxton, just 5-7 on the year. The ERA not bad at 3.72. The last 3 starts, however, quite good. Just 5 earned runs over 20 innings for this left-hander.
0-2 in 2 starts with a 6.00 ERA against the Astros. Springer, who's been torrid, takes the first pitch. There's strike 1 to George. He has really put things together. An 8-game hitting streak during which he's hit .472, bringing him up to .262 for the season. George looks at ball 1, and it's 1-1 to Springer, who's revised his approach a little bit at the plate. His swing is a little different. He's making better contact and hitting more to the opposite field and up the middle. It's a 2-ball, 1-strike count. His on-base average for the season is .362, and he has said recently that it's his job to get to first base, and the approach has been more reflective of that. George is 5 for 10 in this series with 2 runs batted in. On this homestand, he's hit .538, going 14 for 26. 3 balls and a strike. Paxton, who's walked 23 in 116 innings, falling behind at the outset. Springer fouls it back. The Astros could use an answer to the 3-run Seattle first, at least in some fashion here. Trying to overtake the Mariners. They have moved to within a half game of them in the standings, but also it's that wild card race that's so vital right now. That's a shot up the right field line, and it slices out of play. Paxton is 27 years old. He's a Canadian, born in Richmond, British Columbia. Both of Paxton's starts and losses have come with Doug Fister, his opposing moundsman this season. Both those games that were in Seattle, one in July, the other September 17th. He was perfect through 5 innings and pitched well in the September 17th 2-1 loss to that one was to Mike Fiers, rather, the other one Doug Fister, and in that game Yuli Gurriel had a 2-run double off him in the 6th inning, but Paxton lost a tough one. In the earlier game at Seattle, gave up 6 earned runs in 5 innings, including a Springer leadoff home run. Ground ball to shortstop. Ketel Marte gets it over to first, and it's out number 1. Alex Bregman will be the batter. We talked about his return as a pinch hitter last night. He injured that hamstring running from second to third and trying to duck underneath the throw. Bregman fans love the fact that he's back as a starter now, hitting .264 with 8 homers, 33 runs batted in. First start since the 14th. Strike for Paxton. Bregman was the USA Today Minor League Player of the Year this year. He tied the game with that pinch single last night with 2 strikes and 2 outs in the 6th off King Felix Hernandez. Up the right field line, this one goes foul. We look back at it, and well, it's kind of rare for a guy to be out of the action and come back and do this, Ash.
Not only that, it's extremely rare for a guy to fairly severely pull a hamstring muscle and be back anywhere near this quickly. Alex Bregman has been working hard.
One and 2 to the LSU star. First round pick of the Astros. Second player taken in the draft. And he arrived very quickly in the big leagues. Curveball's in the dirt, and it's 2-2 to Bregman. Alex was the second overall pick in the 2015 draft. He was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Fouls it back, still 2-2. He's been a very good battler at the plate. Hangs in with 2 strikes and is a tough out.
There's not a thing about his approach, his swing, that I think anybody would want to change. He's set up beautifully.
He's worked the count full against the 6'4" James Paxton, who was a 4th-round pick in 2010 by Seattle. James with a career record in the big leagues of 17-15 as a 3.40 ERA lifetime. Bregman fouls it. This is the only day game. The Astros will be leaving after this game. They'll have an off day in Anaheim tomorrow before opening their final regular season series against the Angels Friday night. Paxton gets a strikeout, 2 outs now. Jose Altuve will follow.
Paxton humps up to 96 and spots it well.
Altuve has put together a 4-game hitting streak with 6 hits and 16 at-bats. He was 2 for 3 driving in a run last night. .339 is his average. In the batting race, he has a 19-point lead currently. He has 24 homers, 96 runs batted in, an MVP candidate. Dustin Pedroia of Boston is second in the batting race, hitting .320. There's a strike to Altuve. Mookie Betts is at .319. David Ortiz and Mike Trout at .318. It would seem that Altuve has secured the title with a 19-point lead. That would be his second in the last 3 years, but she doesn't care much about that right now.
What are we? Oh, is that ice cream?
Yeah.
Ice cream, good.
1 ball, 2 strikes. King Felix was battered last night for 10 hits and 8 runs, 4 of them earned in 5 2/3 innings. Iwakuma in 6 innings gave up 1 run Monday night. 2-2 now to Jose.
Flirting with danger, taking that pitch with a couple of strikes. But he's got a great eye.
He knows this Seattle pitching staff well. He's hit .412 against the Mariners this year. 3 homers, 9 runs batted in, and Altuve is now a .337 lifetime hitter against Seattle.
Paxton's bringing it like a reliever coming in the last couple of innings. 97.
Altuve has gone 3 for 7 against the big lefty. Taps that one foul. The Astros are 12-13 here in the month of September. They've won 83 games. Last year they won 86 and were a wild card playoff contestant, beating the Yankees, fouled away, and then losing to Kansas City. Carlos Correa is in the on-deck circle. This will be the 8th pitch to Altuve. He has 212 hits, 3 ahead of Mookie Betts for the American League lead. Altuve has a 3-2 pitch coming next. Jose playing in his 158th game. He's missed 1 game for the Astros. There's a walk.
Heavy toll on pitch count here in the first inning, and throwing very hard.
All 3 hitters have gone to 3-2 counts. Carlos Correa follows. Correa at .276 has 20 homers, 96 runs batted in. He is 2 for 6 with 2 runs batted in against Paxton. Carlos has had a big series, going 5 for 9 and driving in a couple. He and Altuve both tied for the club RBI lead with 96 each. Evan Gattis is on deck. Altuve is not far off first, and he was headed back to the bag when Paxton went into his delivery. Now Mike Zunino comes out for a visit. Correa talks with Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire. Carlos has hit .319 against Mariner pitching with 2 homers, 12 runs batted in. It's 1-1. Paxton is fresh off a 10-1 win over the Twins at Minnesota. He didn't walk anybody in 7 innings, giving up 5 hits and 1 run, striking out 9. Fouled away, and it's 1-2 on Correa. He's quite an up the middle DP combo for the Astros, with the run production provided this season by Altuve and Correa. The best by a second baseman and shortstop since 1950. The Red Sox. Bobby Doerr and Vern Stevens struck him out looking, and that's the first inning. No runs, no hits, and a man left. Correa questioning the Jim Wolf strike 3 call. It's 3-0 Mariners.
Look at places like historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and more with a tour of Minute Maid Park. For more information, visit astros.com/tours or call 713-259-8996. The Astros wrapping up this homestand, trying to make it a 3-4 homestand. They've got some work to do there, though. 2-4 so far. It's been a really tough one for these Astros. Guys saying at times they're almost shocked of how well they weren't able to play well right here on their home field, especially with the momentum they were coming in with on the road, starting to play a little bit better. And they've had a couple of guys beat up on this homestand as well. Jose Altuve playing with the wrist and rib injury. Correa re-aggravating that shoulder every time he makes a diving play. And it's just been tough, and they've been grinding through some things. But A.J. Hinch still proud of the guys that are out there every day. Said we do not have an excuse at times. This is who we have to play with. This is who we have going forward. So we just got to find a way to win.
Doug Fister falls behind Leonis Martin. 2 balls and a strike. Well, especially difficult too, Julia, for Doug Fister with the September he has had, with a 10.38 ERA coming into this game. Now another hit to the right of diving Jose Altuve. That's the 4th hit already for the Mariners. Mike Zunino will follow.
Well, that fastball is officially getting hit right now, and probably one of those times where you early on want to change your game plan coming in.
Zunino at 207 has 11 homers, 29 runs batted in. He's just 1 for 17 against the Astros. Well, the curveball approach of Pfister worked well after the Brent Strom trip to the mound. There's strike 1 on Zunino. So perhaps we'll see more of that mix.
Seems to be a determination to pump that fastball.
In for a strike, and it's 0-2. Pfister signed a 1-year deal with the Astros over the winter as a free agent. He's 32 years old. He pitched for Washington last year. Pitched at Fresno State in college. Gets a grounder foul. He had a big year for Washington in 2014 when he was 16-6 with a 2.41 ERA. But last year he ran into elbow problems. Zunino strikes out. That's number 2 for Pfister.
3 straight fastballs, the last one working the inside. After spotting 2 on the outside portion of the plate, just running that one off the edge. You could see once again there had been a missed strike call in that sequence.
Ketel Marte lines one over Carlos Correa into left center field. Marisnick over to play it. He makes the throw to third base and safe at third on the single. Marte gets Martin around to the other corner. 2 men on, 1 out.
And again, the first pitch fastball up, out over the plate. Take a look with that shot of the Supermo presented by Mattress Firm. But it's that same zone, especially on the left-hand hitters, that has been repeated here in the early goings.
A.J. Hinch is making a change, going to lefty Kevin Chapman. So 1 1/3 innings for Doug Pfister. And with Seattle leading at 3-0 with runners at first and third and 1 out, it's Chapman right after this.
Special gift for the Astros fan in your life, and have your special message become a part of Minute Maid Park forever with the Astros Brick Paver program. Visit astros.com/bricks for more details. And don't forget that massage.
Farewell to Tal's Hill on the bases today. Nice memento for someone who picks it up. And Tal Hill himself is here today. Tal Smith is here today.
There may be a Tal Hill here as well.
Well, let's say Tal Smith is here today, and he's the one who suggested a different feature when they were building this ballpark.
Yeah, may I say, Tal looks really good.
He does. Kevin Chapman with no wins or losses, a 4.76 ERA, takes over in a jam. First and third, 1 out. Nori Aoki, the batter. He singled off Doug Pfister's glove in the first inning and rode home on the 3-run homer by Robinson Cano. Jake Marisnick is positioned well into left center field. Chapman delivers, and it's ball one.
If you're wondering why Chapman in this scenario, left-hand hitters dominate this lineup of the Seattle Mariners, and it's time for Chapman to start getting some lefties out. He's had a rough go against the left-handers.
Gave up 2 hits to lefty hitters last night in 1/3 of an inning. He retired Kyle Seager coming in the 6th, then gave up hits to Adam Lind and Leonis Martin before leaving the game. 1-1 on Aoki. Chapman was recalled from AAA Fresno September 5th. It's his 2nd stint with the Astros this season. Bregman's in close at 3rd. Double play setup for Correa and Altuve. That's smoked on a line by a diving Altuve. That'll make it 4-0. Martin scoring. And Marte to third base, and the throw there allows the runner to move into second. Aoki in a 4-0 game. Aoki with the RBI single, his 26th run batted in, then takes second on the throw to third.
This was a good throw that was down where it could be cut, but there was no cutoff man there because of the nature of what took place where the base hit went. As you see, Jake make every effort to make this a good throw, but Carlos Correa is out in shallow center field, and so no impression of being able to cut the ball, and that all enables Aoki to move into second.
The infielders come in tight now for Smith with runners at second and third and 1 out. Smith walked in the first. That's ball 1. Doug Fister threw 29 pitches, 19 for strikes. 4 runs on 6 hits for the Mariners. In tight for Chapman, and it's 2-0 to Smith. The Astros have played 1 more game than the Mariners. Houston has the day off tomorrow. Now Brent Strom will be coming out to the mound. Seattle will be playing Oakland tomorrow night in Seattle to open a 4-game series.
Peek now at our Lexus defensive ratings in the outfield for the Astros. We've seen the arm of Jake Marisnick. He throws very well in center field, and an overall 10 outfielder, as is George Springer in right. The guys are great in left field. A guy that looks like he can throw if he can corral the throws, get them down where they can be cut. Therefore, he has that yellow rating on the arm right now. Teams are going to likely run on him for a while, but Tasker has shown some signs of possible real value as an outfielder. George Springer and Jake Marisnick again just exceptional.
Springer has 12 outfield assists. Now Smith is ready for a 2-0 pitch from Chapman. Close, but ball 3. Cano's on deck.
Well, if you come in as a left-handed reliever to face left-handed hitters, your assignment is to get some outs and to throw some strikes and not walk them. And I imagine all in that range is where Brent Strom went when he was out there.
Strike 1, 3 balls and a strike. The Mariners, oddly, are in contention despite playing under 500 ball in the AL West. 35-36 is their record. Broken bat looper, that'll fall in for a hit. That'll score 2 to make it 6-0 on a broken bat single by Smith. Second straight 3-run inning for Seattle, and now Cano will be the batter.
Broken bat or no broken bat, left-hand hitters are in limited chances granted, but they are dominating Kevin Chapman. And it just crosses up every good intention to bring on the lefty to face this lineup.
Cano hit the 3-run homer to the Landry's Crawford boxes in left field. Now finds a runner at first and 1 out as he rolls around for the second time. Strike to Cano. Doug Fister today went an inning and a third, giving up 5 hits, 5 earned runs, walking 1, fanning 2. Sammy Sosa hit 11 homers in 2001 against the Astros. Dale Murphy 10 in 84. Darryl Strawberry 10 in 91. Cano is at 9 for this year now. Lunges for that one. It's 0-2. The Astros, of course, as you know, are missing their lefty starter, Dallas Keuchel, who's on the disabled list. The Mariners hit .255 against left-handed pitching. Just 4 points higher against right-handed pitching. But Cano, a .280 hitter, has 11 homers against lefty pitchers. Fouls it back, and so he's done a great majority of his damage against right-handers. Kyle Seager's hit .234 with 11 homers against lefties. So a good lefty is a nice choice against this Seattle club if effective. Cano strikes out.
Big slow curveball, and really not in a bad hitting zone. Rare to see that happen with Robinson Cano the way he has swung it.
David Paulino's warming up for Houston now with Nelson Cruz back in the box for the second time. He grounded out to third earlier. He fouls it away, strike one. David Ortiz and Cruz are the 2 players in the majors who have hit 35 homers or more in each of the last 3 seasons. And for Cruz, it's 40 or more. He hit 40 2 years ago with Baltimore, 44 last year with Seattle, and now 41 more. Time had been called. Cruz back to wait.
He wisely asked for time without moving a whole lot in the event he wasn't granted the time. Pretty intelligent player and a veteran. He's soaked up a lot of info.
He swings and it's 0-2. We saw a hitter attempt to get timeout late a few nights ago, right? And he didn't get timeout call, but he had stepped away from the box and he let a strike go by.
That's very foolish. You're not calling time. You're asking for time to be called.
Chapman, who's 28, is from Florida, went to the University of Florida. Kansas City drafted Kevin in the 4th round in 2010. Houston got him in a trade for the 2012 season. It's 1-2. The Astros bullpen has been solid this season, but the innings have really grown. It's been very taxing on this bullpen with the injuries to a couple of key starters in their rotation, Lance McCullers and Dallas Keuchel. Cruz is down on strikes. Strikeout number 2 for Chapman. The Mariners have another 3-run inning and they lead at 6-0.
telecast. Be sure to mention @RootSportsSW in your tweet for the best chance to see it on air. And the tweets are coming in. Make sure to keep tweeting throughout the entire game and through the weekend as well. Ooh, these tweets go into Brownie. Brownie, you're one of the best. I like that. Of course, let's get the win for Brownie. I love it. Fans appreciating Brownie.
Thanks, Julia. You have been great. Ash Blummer, he'll be back on the air with you guys Friday night. There's ball one to Evan Gattis. 31 homers for Evan. He hits one out of play. He's had a big month of September, like Nelson Cruz, with 9 home runs this month. 247 for the season with a .502 slugging percentage. And certainly it's helped the Astros to plan for that catching position for next year. The fact that Evan has been able to return to catching after being a DH last year and do so well at the plate and also throwing out runners, blocking balls. He's third in homers among American League catchers, and he hasn't really caught that many games.
What I think he's done, though, in all the things you just talked about, is he's earned a chance to catch a lot of games. We'll see if it happens.
Liner into left center. There's a sliding play by Martin. Excellent play for out number 1 on a pretty well hit ball by Gattis.
Yeah, it's just nice defense. You're going to find good outfielders playing in center field for most major league clubs.
Now with 1 out, Marwin Gonzalez, the first baseman, with 13 homers, 51 runs batted in, and a .252 average, tries to get something started. He's hit .316 on the homestand. Looks at a curve for strike 1. Yuli Gurriel is on deck. 6-0 deficit for Houston. That's a liner to left field. In for a hit. Aoki over to pick it up. Marwin has the Astros' first hit of the day.
Host your holiday party with elegant spaces, high-end entertainment, and great pricing for every type of event at Minute Maid Park. Get a 50% room rental discount and a 10% food and beverage discount on select dates. Visit astros.com/party, and that's party at the park, or call 713-259-8800.
Yulieski Gurriel, the DH today, takes ball 1 in tight. He starts the day at .256. He has 3 homers, 15 runs batted in, 6 for his last 49 as he's fallen off, including hitting into 4 double plays in 1 game on this homestand. That tied a major league record. It's 2-0. And part of the issue might be playing every day in the big leagues, something he did not do in Cuba. He played more often in Japan when he was there. But it's this everyday grind that can catch up to a player if he has not done it before. We understand he has not lifted weights, didn't really have that availability when he was in Cuba, and plans to change that, staying here over the winter to work out. Gurriel's been hitting second quite a bit, but with Bregman back, he's in the number 7 spot today. Smith in right. 2 outs. Teoscar Hernandez follows. Now Paxton, with this big 6-0 lead early, has a whole lot of working room. It doesn't always work out that way for some starting pitchers. Certainly the pressure of the situation is you're expected to win with a 6-0 lead early.
That is the bottom line. It frees up a lot of guys mentally, and they're able to use their fastball more. But when they do so, oftentimes they start getting hit a lot.
Hernandez looks at ball 1.
Of course, when your fastball runs 95 to 98, as we've seen, that'll help in that endeavor.
You bet it will. 207 for Teoscar with 4 homers. He's driven in 9. He was called up in mid-August. Fouls it back, 1-1. He's making his 12th start in left field. He's started 10 times in center and 3 in right. If he should make the Astros club on opening day 2017, he will give A.J. Hinch some nice options. In for a strike, and it's 1-2 for Paxton.
Oscar showed Julia that he's got a pretty good imitation of a velociraptor as well.
He sure did. Jake Marisnick's on deck. And we came up and hit him. Foul ball to keep the count at 1-2. Look at this, Ash. Age 25 and under, and all that talent.
It's a great looking base. There's no question about it. You need a healthy Lance McCullers. You know about Carlos Correa. Obviously, at this stage of things. By the way, Jose Altuve's not one of the old guys around here, but yeah, it's a great looking base. I think Bregman's going to be a whale of a player, and that pitching staff. You've got some good arms in that bunch.
That's a strikeout, number 3 for Paxton. No runs, a hit, and a man left after 2. It's 6-0 Mariners.
Top of the 3rd. All right, Astros fans, time to play Name That Astro, presented by your local Honda dealer. Here are your clues for the day. Signed as a free agent, he homered in his first career at bat. Rocky tenure. There's your clues. Tweet us your best guess at Root Sports SW. We'll tell you who it is later in the broadcast. Brownie.
Ooh, okay. You got us going with that one, Julia. 6-0 Seattle, inning number 3 starting. Kevin Chapman in relief of Doug Fister, facing Kyle Seager. Seager singled to left field in the first inning. There is still warm-up action for the Astros, so Chapman probably won't be in too much longer, being a lefty short reliever. There's strike 1. Former Astro Chris Sampson is here with his wife Heather, enjoying the final home game of the season for the Astros. It's David Paulino warming up again. 1-1. That's a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes with Lind and Martin to follow in the Seattle 3rd. Is there room for one more Colonel in there? Struck him out. That's 3 in a row for Chapman.
I think he was challenging the cameraman to come and just try and take one of these.
Now, Adam Lind and Martin, both left-handed hitters, so if Chapman could get through this inning, that should be probably all that is asked of him. Lind struck out in the first inning. looks at ball one. Lind is 33. He was born in Muncie, Indiana. Went to South Alabama. Played for Milwaukee last year. Bouncer Marwin Gonzalez. Tossing to Chapman, 2 outs. Martin will follow. Martin singled to right center leading off the second inning and came around to score on the Aoki RBI single. Former Astro catcher Scott Service with his club 83 and 74, getting set to go back home for that final 4-game series with Oakland to wrap it up. Breaking pitch and for a strike on Martin. Talked about that Astro bullpen earlier, Ash, just piling up the innings. Little tap. Altuve hurrying, barehanding, can't make the play. And Martin is on with an infield hit.
And I imagine there are a lot of clubs right now around the major leagues that have that same story going on. You're deep into a year and the starters are tired too. Do or die effort there by Jose, and the bare hand just betrays.
Well, the Astros bullpen has worked 534 innings this season coming into this game today. Mike Zunino struck out in the second inning. George Springer comes over, crossing over the line into foul ground, and it's out of play for him. That's taken a toll on this relief corps. The starters have struggled to get beyond 6 innings in many of the September games. Expanded rosters do help with more relievers, and Chapman among those September call-ups. But it's been a pretty heavy load, and in fact, last night before the game, A.J. Hinch said there were 4 relief pitchers he would not use. And it just so worked out that he didn't need any of the 4. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mike Fiers went 5 last night. It was Chapman, Gustave, Davinsky, and Neshek finishing out the 8-4 win, with Gustave getting his first major league win. It's 1-2. Roof was open last night. That was quite a surprise to us, but it was a nice, pleasant evening. Supposed to be in the upper 80s today, though. That's a little too warm for comfort.
No wind whatsoever last night, blowing balls out to left field.
The runner takes off. Here's the throw. Marwin relays it, and it goes on into left field. Here's the throw from Teoscar Hernandez to third, and woo. Martin was cruising in a little bit, but he does make it to third base.
What would it look like if a major league player slid right on top of the bag, I wonder?
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. You might find out. I don't know what happened here. Marwin's throw might have gotten hid behind the runner. Let's see on this angle. Yeah, that throw crossing, and if you're in Altuve's spot, you just lose sight. You can see he closed his eyes just trying to get out of the way. And now watch the slide on top of the bag. Well, just imagine.
He popped up and then made that late slide, and the error is on Marwin Gonzalez, his 8th of the year for that errant throw.
Okay, so what does it look like if you just slide right on top of the base? Kind of like that.
It can be troublesome to wait that long. 2-2. Easy to come off the base by waiting that long. Full count now on Zunino.
By the way, that's a tough error on Marwin, but one that would be even tougher to place on Altuve.
True. The throw seemed to tail right over the batting helmet of Martin. That does make it difficult for the guy covering second. Now Zunino takes a walk, and runners are at first and third with 2 outs for Ketel Marte.
Used to hear people talk a lot about team errors where it was unjust to drop an error on a particular player. I don't know. Maybe there's some merit to that.
Marte, who's 3 for 9 in the series, got a single and scored a run in the second. He's a switch hitter, a .211 right-handed batter. Ball 1 for Chapman. The Astros came in, of course, with their bags packed, ready for the flight to Anaheim after the game. And then the day off tomorrow. Bounce foul, 1 ball, 1 strike, finishing up another home season. So when they get back in this ballpark to play their next game here, unless they make the playoffs and get a home game there, Tal's Hill will be gone. There will be a new center field wall 409 feet away from home plate, out in about where the warning track area is right now, and a whole new complex of entertainment, restaurants, bars out in center field. Astros spending $15 million to spruce up that area for the fans. 1 and 2. Home opener April 3rd against Seattle. Two balls, 2 strikes to Ketel Marte. World Baseball Classic will hasten an earlier spring training next year. That's chop foul. Still 2 and 2. We should have plenty of drama around Major League Baseball in the final weekend, Ash, with all the playoff possibilities with the wild cards.
You certainly see the value of having a couple of wild cards coming out of each league. It just keeps so much more interest going.
Chop slowly. There's Bregman, unable to barehand, and a run scores to make it 7-0. Marte with an infield single gets the RBI. That's his 32nd run batted in.
Yeah, they've done some pummeling of the baseball and then some of this stuff. Watch the ball kick to the right on Bregman. You're already determined that it has to be a barehanded effort, and then it kicks away from you.
9 hits now for the Mariners. Aoki has 2 of those. And the leadoff man has scored twice while driving in a run. Outside, ball 1. The Mariners are 4 for 4 with runners in scoring position. Last night's game was an oddity. Houston winning at 8-4. Each team had 11 hits and nobody hit a homer. With these two clubs, that is noteworthy because Seattle's hit 214 homers, Houston 196 this year, and now make it 215 with Cano's 3-run homer in the first inning today. Two balls, no strikes. Next year, they tell us, the fans could stand out behind the center field fence and look in on the action. Tony Sepp is up now for Houston, another lefty reliever. In the dirt. 3-0. Aoki has worked his way on already twice, and it's looking very favorable for him now at 3-0 with Smith on deck. 39 pitches for Chapman. That's a pretty long outing for the lefty short man. And now a walk will load the bases for Smith. Smith walked and scored in the first on the Cano 3-run homer. He singled in 2 in the second.
Simply an ongoing issue for Kevin Chapman. Difficulty getting in and staying in the strike zone.
The bases are loaded. Smith is taking, and that's ball 1 to him. Smith has 2 career grand slams, and both have been this year. July 3rd, he connected against Baltimore, and September 13th against the Angels in Anaheim. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Chapman. Robinson Cano's on deck. Now 2-0. Two balls, 1 strike. Jim Wolf is the brother of Randy Wolf, former Astros left-handed pitcher. He's the home plate umpire. The Mariners have really done well with the bats with their 9 hits now. They've also drawn 3 walks. Three and 0. Rich Dower, the first base coach, was standing there alongside A.J. Hinch.
Kevin Chapman can't throw a strike, and Seth Smith has to step out and adjust the gloves with each pitch.
That's a strike, and it's a full count. And with 2 outs, the merry-go-round will be spinning. The base is loaded, and a 3-2 count. Zunino at third, Marte at second, Aoki at first. Ground ball tapped to Marwin Gonzalez. Here's the toss to Chapman in time for the 3rd out. 1 run scoring on 2 hits with 1 error and 3 men left. It's 7-0 Mariners in the 3rd.
Time for our Chevy Stroh poll. Make sure to jump on Twitter. You can vote in our poll at Root Sports SW is where you can find today's question. Who is the biggest Astros nemesis through the years? So we can go way back. Robinson Cano, who we've seen this series, Jim Edmonds, Albert Pujols, who just left town, or Adrian Beltre. Guys.
Thanks, Julia.
Oh, before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to mention this right here.
There's Julia and Jake right there.
This great fan made this sign because of Jake Marisnick's walk-up music that you're hearing right now. Hopefully you can hear it. Jurassic Park theme music.
Yes.
That's a great sign. She even put George Springer's sunglasses on one of them.
The Raptor pack. That took some work. Marisnick with strike 1 from Paxton. 7-0 Seattle. Fans are really into this Jurassic Park theme for Jake. 204 for Jake with 5 homers, 19 runs batted in. No balls and 2 strikes for Paxton, who's been spotted this early 7-0
I even
lead.
put my arms up too. I was like,
The sound effects
was that my
provided by
voice?
Julia.
was that my raptor sound that
Well,
I tried to make?
that wasn't really your voice. You were doing an impersonation.
Right, it was a raptor.
Yeah, you took
Sounded
on another
just
voice.
like a velociraptor.
Did we ever get to the bottom of how that was selected by George Springer for Jake to use that as his
No.
walk-up music?
George Springer got really deep and asked me, why wouldn't it be Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
And that's about as far as that went.
Marisnick 3 for 7 against Paxton. The Astros have just 1 single through the first couple of innings. And Marisnick is down on strikes. That's number 4 for Paxton. George Springer will be the batter. He ran the count full and then grounded out in the first inning. We have a special guest out in the hallway, Ash.
Yeah?
He'll be joining us next inning. And he was just sitting in this chair next to you, but you were so into that monitor that you didn't know who it was. That's a strike to Springer. You were really concentrating.
I study up before I go into a ball game.
You were focused, pal. In for a strike, and quickly it's 0-2. But here is what happened.
Oh, get out. That happened? That wasn't today.
You didn't even know who it was, and he was sitting.
Wow.
You were studying that, making sure there were no changes on the field and all. Deep drive to right field. Smith is back. Springer has hit an oppo. Home run, George Springer, number 29, and the Astros are on the board. He powered the 0-2 pitch for his 82nd run batted in.
Well, that's a start. And use some of George's mad science. Why wouldn't the Astros come back and win this game?
Yeah, why wouldn't you hit an opposite field homer on an 0-2 pitch?
I think that's some crafty computer work you've done putting Biz next to me there. But up and away. That up and away fastball has been hit a few times hard today.
29 bombs for George. Second on the club to Evan Gaddis is 31. Now there's a strike to Alex Bregman.
I need to know when that took place, Brownie. Was that pregame or in game?
No, that was just now, pal. Just a moment ago.
Oh, that's too funny.
Yeah. Jammed on it. Bregman pops it foul. Adam Lind, 2 outs. Well, we've been all caught up at Jurassic Park, and look who was sitting right there next to you.
My goodness.
It would have been good to see him take over on the play-by-play, though, right?
Mr. Incognito, thanks a lot, Biz.
Yeah. There's a big changeover. Jose Altuve worked the count full, and then he walked in the first inning.
Just let that be a lesson to you. You're not going to slip anything by me.
Altuve fouls it away. There's strike 1. It's 1-1 to Jose. We mentioned this is the only day game, leaving a lot of activity for tonight. Arizona will be at Washington. Nationals have won 92 games. 1-2. Red Sox and Yankees play at Yankee Stadium tonight. Red Sox are going for their 93rd win. So that home field advantage is in play in the American League anyway. The Cubs have run away with 101 wins in the National. Still 1-2. Cleveland has 91 wins. Boston 92. Texas 93. Paxton strikes out Altuve. Springer's home run gives the Astros their first run. And Alan Ashby all alone with his thoughts. 7-1 Seattle after 3. field. That's number 3,000. And he drives in a run, and he's going for second. Tavares with the throw. He's out, but that's 3,000 hits for Craig Biggio. This moment in history brought to you by MD Anderson. This guy in history, Craig Biggio, joining us. And good to see you and Connor, your son, hanging out here at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's been nice a little bit. He's in limbo right now in between jobs, and it's been nice to be able to have him around the house for a little while longer. And we get to, enjoy some good times watching some baseball games.
Tony Sipp's in the game for the Astros. There's Robinson Cano with a check swing, ball one.
Nothing could excite me more, by the way, than sitting next to you.
And not knowing that I was here either. That was funny.
Apparently twice.
I wanted to wake you up.
Oh, don't do that, please.
You see how he ignores me? That's what you got to look at that.
You guys have a lot of fun up here. And then, Brownie, I want to, hey, congratulations on an unbelievable career. And 20 years together, you called every one of my games. And from one of the guys that have been in the dugout and on the field and in that clubhouse and traveling around the country with you on an airplane, man, it's been a pleasure to have worked with you and call you a friend.
Well, thank you. It's been a special relationship. And you were, of course, flooded with friends back in those days and some great teammates. You had some terrific times with those clubs.
We did. We had a lot of fun. I mean, the late 80s and being around Ash and, Nolan and Billy Doran and Buddy Bell and those guys. And then the 90s with Cammy and Baggy and Casey and some great times. And then being an old guy playing with the young kids. I've seen a lot. And, the game is a remarkable game, as you know. And I think as time goes on, you're going to remember more and more of the positive things that happened during the course of your career than the negative ones.
Yeah. Altuve in for the slow roller. He flips out Robinson Cano for out number one. It is interesting now, especially on this day, that we're all together because Ash was there when you came up. Mm-hmm. And in the Seattle dugout, we have Scott Service, another former teammate. Tim Bogart's down there, the bench coach. Mike Hampton, Casey Candell. Friends are all around you here.
Yeah, we got Astros all over the place right now. So, and I'm happy for these guys in Seattle. They're having a nice season. I'm not happy with what's going on in today's game as of right now, but they're doing a nice job over there, and they're being a difference maker, and that's good.
Nelson Cruz, the batter now, as Tony Sipp tries to get his second out after coming in for Kevin Chapman. And he gets a strike.
Did you learn any batting practice tips from Casey Candell, by the way?
Ones that I can't really talk about on the air, that's for sure. He was again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, and if I was ever to manage, he would be my first hire because he is one of the funniest human beings that you're ever going to meet, but he's also one of the smartest baseball guys you're ever going to meet also. Huh. And, Scotty's lucky to have him.
Yeah, he was actually working. Scott hired him when they were in the Rangers organization, mm-hmm. because of exactly what you said.
Right. He's great. And Nolan was part of that process over there. And Nolan has said it before that he knew he was good, but he wasn't really sure what he was really getting. And they absolutely love him in the Ranger organization. And now that's Seattle's game.
And so that reflects back to the way the players approach the game here. And, it's always been said of those Astros teams that they played hard, they played well, they really didn't make a lot of mistakes, and right. You can see that in the fact that so many of them are now in uniform in managerial and coaching spots.
Right, absolutely. I mean, you're, it's one thing to have good players, but also you got to have the great coaches to go along with it. And you look at both sides of the ball today and both dugouts, both staffs are extremely, they're excellent at what they do.
3-2 now to Cruz. As you've watched this season, with this scramble in the American League for the wild card spots and this club, the Astros starting 17-28, they got back in the mix. They've really had that battling quality that a lot of your clubs have had. The injuries seem to have hit pretty hard here at the end of the year, Bitch.
Yeah, but the injury is going to happen to everybody. You got to deal with it. One man goes down, it's another guy's opportunity to step up and do what hopefully he can do. But it's just part of the game. And baseball is it's funny because you build this whole thing up to the last week of the season, the last 2 weeks of the season, but the first game of the season is just as important as the last game of the season, and they all have, they all mean something. So, in general right now we're in a little bit of funk, and hopefully, we can start, swing the bats a little bit better right now. Maybe, come out of this one and we'll see what happens.
Kyle Seager takes a strike.
Every win is important as another, and you can conceivably win a pennant or or whatever in the month of April. Come out winning, and it can be helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but then again, you got to give our guys a lot of credit. You know where they came from.
Yep.
You know, they dug themselves a humongous hole, but they kept battling, they persevered, and they worked hard, and they never got down, and the staff didn't let them get down, and they continue to. Hey, it's a long season. It's a 6-month season, and you go out. You know, once you leave spring training, 8 months altogether. But you know, in the long run, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. But you know, hey, it's a marathon here, and our guys are able to, you know, dig themselves out of that hole.
Altuve, Correa, Gonzalez, 4-6-3. Bitch, thanks so much for coming in.
All right, Brownie, congratulations again. Proud of you.
Thank
Again,
Thanks,
it's
Ash.
good to
Appreciate
actually
you.
see you. Ray chart. This is what I was thinking about when Biz came in the booth a little while ago. I was thinking about the home runs that have been hit in this ballpark since 2012. Obviously, left field is the haven. Right field can be as well. Center field, much more difficult. I wonder how many have actually sailed over Tal's Hill of those 99 home runs. Some Astro needs to hit at least one today to center field. Dead center.
We have not seen many in the history of this ballpark. Carlos Correa struck out looking first time up. Strike one on the high heater from James Paxton, who has the 7-1 lead. Paxton has struck out 5. He's walked 1. It's 0-2. We were talking last night, Ash, about the fact that somebody came up with a figure of 22 home runs that would have been added to the Astros and their opponents' total in center field this year had the dimensions been moved into where they will be next year, 409 feet to straightaway center.
Do you know where that places the fence? Is it at the far end of the warning track?
Not sure, Ash. Struck him out looking. That's number 6. Now 11.3% of the total home runs have been hit to center field since 2012 at Minute Maid Park. That is the lowest percentage of any major league park. America Park, as you know, is huge. Yankee Stadium is huge, and so on down the line. Evan Gattis looks at a ball. Now that'll change the outlook on things. It'll change the numbers in this ballpark. 2-0.
What was the name of the old ballpark in Pittsburgh where I believe they had the batting cage sitting out there on the field to play during the course of games?
Forbes Field.
That's what it was.
And the Polo Grounds really had a very extensive center field area way back when. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Gattis. Line drive left. Gattis is aboard. He lined out to center where Martin made a big play on him in the second inning. This one finds a hole. 52.7% of the home runs have been hit to left field here at Minute Maid Park since 2012. That is the highest percentage to left, where it's only 315 feet with a 21-foot high wall here. AT&T Park surprisingly high at 48%. Marwin Gonzalez singled to left in the second inning. Yuli Gurriel is on deck. In tight for ball one. We've always heard how pitchers can get outs to center field here at Minute Maid. That may be changing. One and one. Well, you know, the experienced baseball people, Ash, say, well, you can see other teams come in here, and the Astros hitters too start trying to pull the ball, those right-handed hitters, when they're in this park.
Well, it's the left-handers that I think can really take advantage here, as well as the right-handers. But left-handers like Robinson Cano early in the ball game today, just taking an away fastball, flipping it in the air to left field, and it's a pretty easy home run. It's very much like Fenway Park, straightaway left field here.
Yep.
If you can believe dimensions, and I don't necessarily in Boston, very close to the actual dimensions.
Fenway Park left field wall is almost twice as tall as the Astros left field wall. So that gives Houston a better yield on homers to left field. Some of those line drives get out here and maybe only to the first or second row, where they're off the wall in Fenway and conceivably could even be singles depending on the batter runner and the way the left fielder plays it. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 9 hits for the Mariners, 3 for the Astros. Marte and Cano are set up for a double play. Instead, it's a strikeout. That's number 7 for Paxton.
Academy Sports and Outdoors and the Houston Astros are hitting home runs for Houston. These are the numbers of home runs hit here by the Astros in that same time frame since 2012. Left field, obviously the dominant force in terms of the long balls. Since 2000, excuse me, this is all time. Right field approaching 500, but center field, obviously it's a tough yard, and I think most of those home runs coming likely out toward left center field.
Yeah, very few to straightaway center.
That's
a
big part out in left center too.
Gurriel with strike 1. He had a fly ball to right field in the second inning. Up the middle, off the foot of Paxton, and he throws him out. No runs, a hit, a man left after 4, 7-1 Seattle.
by your local Honda dealer. He signed as a free agent, homered in his first career at bat. Rocky tenure. You know, didn't he homer in his first at bat 3 years in a row? You guys know who I'm talking about? Well, there it is.
Oh, no.
That's Suey.
Didn't know that one.
And I'm guessing the Rocky tenure means that he played with the Rockies.
That's true. Okay, well, we're often flummoxed by these questions, and you always know the answers, so there we have it. Kaz Matsui. Adam Lind leads it off in the 5th inning. Tony Sipp is pitcher number 3 for Houston. Kevin Chapman went an inning and 2/3, allowing 4 hits, 2 runs. Walking 2, Fanning 3. Sipp took over and faced only 3 men in the 4th. There's strike 1.
What did we learn there about Kaz? I missed out on that.
He homered, what was it, his first at bat 3 years in a row, which we didn't know.
Wow.
David Paulino is warming up again. Been up a couple of times. 0-2. Well, seeing Tal Smith before the game, of course, Astros fans well familiar with his great contributions to this franchise, so that brings back a lot of memories. Going back to the very beginning, the Colt 45s. He started on the job actually before 1962. Greg Cullinan, George Kirksey had a lot to do with this franchise coming to Houston as an expansion team in 1962. Judge Roy Hawthines was, of course, at the forefront. R.E. Bob Smith. And they hired Gabe Paul as the first general manager. He had been with Cincinnati. Gabe brought Tal Smith along with him to Houston. Gabe was gone after just a few months, and the Colt 45s hired Paul Richards, who at the time was the Baltimore Orioles manager, to be their general manager. The problem with that was that Paul Richards was managing and under contract to another organization, so it was technically an illegal deal.
He was a multitasker, huh?
Yeah, very interesting times. It's 3-2. And Paul Richards one time had a 6 a.m. meeting in Chicago with Tal Smith. They had to do it at that hour so nobody would see them together in a hotel.
Mark Berman would have caught him.
He would have caught him. Flynn strikes out, and Sipp gets his first of the game. We have more tweets coming in, and we know it's an afternoon game with a lot of people at work, others at school. And we do appreciate the signs and the turnout here at the ballpark, and also those of you watching. Randy Koopmans is here, and we heard that she was behind one of these signs, maybe one of those that we've seen. Thank you, one and all. So when Paul Richards would call Houston, and he needed to talk to Tal Smith about plans for 1962, and he was managing the 61 Orioles, he would call under the code name of Blackie. 1-1 the count to Leonis Martin. 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. That was a little bit of the subterfuge they had to use.
Was all this done on a personal BlackBerry?
So then, of course, the switchboard operators had to be alerted as to who Blackie was and how important his calls were. Could have been anybody, right? Flared out to Correa, out number 2. That's how the franchise got started. Bobby Shantz pitched the first game of the Colt 45s, 1962 at Old Colt Stadium. And the first batter at that stadium was Lou Brock, who at the time was the leadoff man for the Chicago Cubs. Mike Zunino has struck out and walked. So many great names with this franchise down through history. Hal Smith was the first catcher. He had hit a big World Series home run for the Pirates in 1960. Great guy. He worked a restaurant here in Houston for a time. No balls, 2 strikes. Of course, we know Bob Aspromonte very well. He was actually the second player taken in the expansion draft by the Colt 45s. And there you see some of the greats up at the top of the stadium. Zunino strikes out. It's a 1-2-3 fifth for Tony Sipp. That's his second strikeout. 7-1 Seattle. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Seven to 1, the Mariners lead it. The Astros come up now. In the last of the fifth inning, they've been out hit 9-3. Houston has the only error. James Paxton got the early lead with 3 in the Seattle first, 3 more in the second, and a single run in the third inning. His pitch to Teoscar Hernandez is ball one. Teoscar struck out in the second inning. Jake Marisnick will follow, and George Springer's due to bat third. In for a strike to make it 1-1. Bunting, Teoscar has a shot if it stays fair, but it does not. Not a bad idea, but it just trickled foul.
Well, he left Zunino and Paxton without any kind of play.
Carl Warwick tells a great story, Ash, about the early days of the franchise with the Colt 45s. He was on that team. They had a little rivalry between Judge Hawfines and R.E. Bob Smith about who was the better hitter. Line drive up the right field line, just foul. So believe it or not, the two owners of the team had a hitting contest to decide who could hit better. And Carl Warwick was asked to pitch to both of them. And Judge Hawfines, who was often seen smoking cigars and almost never seen exercising, was in that batting cage banging out line drive after line drive. And R.E. Bob Smith was a workout fanatic, and he couldn't get out of the cage. Fly ball to center field. That's hit well. It'll go all the way up close to Towles Hill. It's tracked down on the warning track. Teoscar Hernandez is in with a leadoff double after failing to bunt. Worked out better for him that the bunt rolled foul.
He had thoughts about going for 3, but decided not to make that first out at third base. Just right down and take your 2-iron and hit this thing. Pretty good contact with the 2-iron. Martin kind of launches a throw back into the infield in some general direction.
Jake Marisnick now comes up with a man in scoring position. He struck out in the third inning. Jake rips a line drive, left field corner. Teoscar Hernandez around to score, and it's 7-2. Marisnick in with an RBI double. 17th double for Jake. That's his 20th run batted in. And the 8-9 hitters get something started.
Houston Methodist brings us our league leaders. This is updated now. George Springer, over the last 9 games, red hot. And that's fair to say. Excuse me. And scoring some runs in the process, homering in this game. I'm sure he would love to get to the big 3-0. Pretty good, solid numbers for George.
He grounded out in the first before the home run to right field on the 0-2 pitch in the 3rd inning. That's strike 1 to Springer.
You know what you're doing, Browning?
What?
Starting to peck away.
Well,
cut into this Seattle early lead.
7-0 is not easy, right? But string some hits together. Maybe get a long ball here and there. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Astros club record for the biggest deficit they've overcome to win a game is 11 runs back in the Dome. St. Louis Cardinals. And they won it 15-12. That was July 18th of '94 after trailing 11-0. It can be done. 1-2. And the first task as far as making that really serious would be to get the starting pitcher out of the game, right?
Especially when he's throwing as well as Paxton has been.
Springer now has scored 116 runs this year. 4th in the American League coming into play today. Jeff Bagwell scored 126. Craig Biggio 118. And that was in the 0-1 season. And Richard Hidalgo is the only other outfielder in Astros history to have 28 homers and 116 runs. Springer's down on strikes. That's 8 for Paxton. Alex Bregman struck out in the first. He fouled out in the 3rd inning. Jose Altuve's in the on-deck circle. The Astros now have been out hit 9-5. Ball 1 to Bregman. There's been a scoring change. The official score now has given Leonis Martin a stolen base in the 3rd inning. That has changed the run to an earned run in the 3rd. Fouled away, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, I guess you'd almost have to do that because you can't assume the out down at second.
Right. Bregman looks at it. 2 balls and a strike. Bregman has added a lot of power this season. Concentrated on that over the winter when he understood what that transition from LSU to pro baseball involved. Up the middle into center field, a hit. Marisnick turns third, comes to the plate. Throw from Martin on 1 hop, or right there for Zunino, and he got him on the fly, actually. That is a big out in this game as the Astros, trailing 7-2, fail to score the run on the hit by Bregman.
Very close play at the plate. Martin just launches one all the way. Bregman unable to move into second base, protecting that leg. But let's see what Jake does as he comes around third and does the patented dive at the plate. Does he get in there? Ooh, I don't know about that. Was there a tag applied?
Well, that's the question. Was there a tag on Marisnick?
I'm not sure there was. To me, that's a whiff.
Hard to say. Jim Wolf had it as a tag.
I'm not sure from this angle that, well, yeah. To me, there's space. Jake Marisnick does his best George Springer imitation and vice versa with the two guys. But I think Jake avoided the tag. What do you think, Browning?
Don't see a tag.
Well, that's tough to tell on that one. Was there contact made in the early going?
Don't see the outside of the mitt moving at all as if it encountered anything.
Yeah, I agree. On that view, I see no contact made.
It is really close. A whisker. Did Zunino's mitt touch him at all? That is the real question for New York.
Yeah.
He is safe. What a big call in this game. That would have been a devastating out for the Astros. Instead, it's a run, and it's 7-3. Great throw from Martin to the plate. Bregman gets an RBI, his 34th, and Marisnick just barely scored it.
How about this Bregman kid?
It's amazing how a guy can miss 2 weeks, come back and start hitting in clutch situations like he did last night.
Comes back from the barely walking wounded.
Yep. 2 doubles and now 1 out later a single. Have the Astros causing a little bit of an issue. Mel Stottlemyre Jr., the pitching coach, out to the mound. 7-3 ball game with Altuve batting. Altuve has walked and struck out.
How many of these diving plays from the Astros at the plate could we compile over the course of the season?
Boy, a bunch. Springer's had a number of them. Tell you what, there are a lot of people who do not favor the head first slide, but if you do it properly, the way Marisnick did and the way Springer does, it can be very effective. Altuve around showing bunt and taking ball 1. That's a surprise. But he was just showing bunt. Correa's on deck. Seager's even with the bag at third. Now 2-0. Sometimes the hitter will square around just to try to get ball 1 out of that pitcher. Just throw him off a little bit when he sees that look at home plate. Maybe force him into a little bit different pattern. Altuve puts it in the air and the right fielder comes in for it, Smith. 2 down now. And Correa will be next. '89 pitches for James Paxton. Correa has struck out looking twice. Correa and Mike Trout are the only players in the last 10 years to drive in 96 runs or more prior to age 22 season. He just turned 22 a few days ago, so next year will be his age 22 season. In for a strike. Slowly hit. Marte on to second to Cano for the force on Bregman. 2 runs scoring on 3 hits and a man left. Marisnick's run does count after all, and it's now a 4-run lead. 7-3 Seattle.
Our Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting. At Root Sports SW is where you can find our poll questions. And we asked you today, who's the biggest Astros nemesis through the years? Wow, Albert Pujols coming through big today, 78%. I'm guessing the viewers remember this weekend. Robinson Cano only got 6%, which is surprising. But I bet if Brownie and Ash would have been able to vote, maybe figure out the way to vote through your phone or your mobile app.
What are you talking about?
It might have been closer. Do you guys remember this?
Are you doing a flashback to Jurassic Park again?
No, we're flashing back to the hashtag Vote Springer days.
With the dinosaurs up here, is that what you're after?
Where we needed everybody to vote. They needed to text the number.
You know what we were doing there? We were trying to figure out how to put out 10,000 votes in one button push.
Right,
and we pulled it off.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Man, those were good times.
Ketel Marte, strike one. Well, Julia, as James Hoyt comes out of the bullpen and starts the 6th inning, he's facing Marte, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Actually, Julia, we were trying to figure out how to text you.
Just a simple text?
That's it.
No, it was a lot more complicated than that, but it was fun watching you guys try to figure that out during the commercial break.
No balls, 2 strikes. A lot of inconsequential things happen during commercial breaks, Ash.
We'll be performing downtown next week, Julia.
Yeah.
You figured it out, though. That's all.
Well,
that's what's important.
You know, we consulted with 10 experts, and finally we got it done. 1 ball and 2 strikes for James Hoyt. Tony Sipp in 2 innings allowed no hits, no runs, had a walk and 2 strikeouts. So Hoyt is pitcher number 4. Doug Fister, the starter, went an inning and a third, giving up 5 hits, 5 runs. Tap foul, still a ball and 2 strikes. So the Astros, with the 2 runs they scored in the 5th inning, cut into that deficit a little bit. Their bullpen would have to be really good for them to come back, and so far it's done well the last couple of innings. Hoyt 1-1 with a 1.19 whip and a 4.66 ERA. Usually if it's a major comeback win, the bullpen has to be involved, and just putting a tourniquet on the other club's offense. Hoyt misses, and it's 2-2 for James. He allowed an unearned run Monday night on his own throwing error since he got back from AAA in his 2nd stint with the big league club September 2nd. He's given up 3 earned runs in 10 innings, striking out 15, walking 4. Good play to his left. Marwin Gonzalez up and tossing, and Hoyt is there for out number 1. Sparkling effort by the first baseman.
Over and over from Marwin. Going to his right, now to his left. And he's played well down there. You would think he was a career first sacker.
He has been sensational there. That's 1 out, and a big lift for James Hoyt just in the game. Turning his attention now to Aoki, who's been on all 3 times. 2 singles and a walk. Strike 1 to Nori. Tony Sipp threw 26 pitches, 17 for strikes. That one bounces, and it's 1-1. Been so many great athletes who have come through Houston as a part of the Colt 45s and Astros organization. Rusty Staub was one of the best hitters. He was traded away to Montreal. Joe Morgan came up through Houston and was traded to the Big Red Machine, where he became a Hall of Famer. 1-2.
2-time MVP.
Yeah. Jimmy Wynn, Cesar Cedeno, a lot of outstanding athletes have come along down through the years, but the Astros have been known for their pitching. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bob Bruce was one of the early effective right-handers. Larry Durker. Larry struck out Willie Mays and Jim Ray Hart in his major league debut at age 18.
Speaking of pitching, I'm seeing Charlie Kerfeld right there in the front row.
Oh, yeah. He's been here scouting. High chop, Altuve to his left. 2 outs.
2017 Astros season tickets are on sale right now. Enjoy some of the best seats at Minute Maid Park. Save money and get great benefits throughout the season. Visit Astros.com/tickets or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Nick Vincent is warming up for Seattle. Seth Smith, the batter. Smith singled in 2 in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 2 with a walk. Mike Cuellar was an outstanding left-handed pitcher who also got away in a trade, becoming a Cy Young Award winner for Baltimore. Don Wilson, whose number is retired. Another outstanding moundsman. Uh-oh. Smith is down. Hit by the pitch, and with 2 outs, he'll be on first. It's the 71st time a Mariner's been hit by a pitch. That leads the American League.
Well, let's see. It gets a little of that back toe. I would suggest you get out of the way.
Now Smith is leaving for a pinch runner, Ben Gamel. So he can get some treatment on that foot as Gamel takes over at first. Robinson Cano ripped a 3-run homer to left field in the 1st inning. He's 1 for 3. Ball 1 to Cano, whose father Jose pitched briefly for the Astros. Bob Watson was a heck of a player for this franchise, later becoming general manager. Moving on to the Yankees and then the commissioner's office. Altuve coming in on the roller. Sends it over to Marwin. And that ends the top of the 6th with no runs, no hits, and a man stranded. 7-3 Mariners.
Looking back to yesterday's exciting 6th inning by the Astros, 6 runs on 5 hits. It all started with a couple of base hits from the 3 and 4 hitters on this club. Altuve, Correa get things going. Yuli Gurriel avoids the double play here. Jose Altuve scoring on the air. This inning stays alive with a Tony Kemp walk. Alex Bregman, first at bat in a couple of weeks, comes up with a huge RBI there to tie the game up, and they did not stop. Here comes Jake Marisnick with a bang-bang play at first. He beats it out. It is safe, and like I said, inning just keeps staying alive for these Astros. George Springer comes up with a huge two-run double for him to make it 6-4, and then Marwin Gonzalez had another big hit to make it 6 runs in that 6th inning. Just an exciting inning to watch these guys, but that's who this team is, Brownie and Ash. We've seen it all season long.
And we're seeing it from Evan Gattis with a deep drive to left field. And he has just made this a 7-4 ball game. That's number 32 on the first pitch by reliever Nick Vincent. Gattis goes deep, and it's 7-4 now. .32 homers, 70 runs batted in, and the crowd is alert and awake for Evan Gattis.
Pecking away, that's what you're doing, Brownie. Towering shot. Right down the groove, and Evan got enough that he knew it was gone, but this was majestic for all. I think it went through the roof at one point and then back on down.
It seemed to. That was a hanger. Well, the Astros with their second long ball of the game, trail by 3, nobody out, home 6th inning. It's Marwin Gonzalez batting. He's 1 for 2, and it's getting interesting. Certainly more interesting than 7-0 in the middle of the 3rd. Vincent missing with the changeup, goes to ball 1. James Paxton left after 5 innings, allowing 6 hits, 3 runs, walking 1 and striking out 8. That one jammed him. Looked like a cutter in on the hands of Marwin. He fouled it off his leg. 1-1.
You know, Evan Gattis is no longer a guy that, you know, if you could get him in there 125 games or so, he might hit 30 home runs for you. He's already done it, and kind of pressing upward now.
Strong finish. That's 10 homers in September for Evan Gattis.
And again, I'll repeat what you said earlier in the game. Doing a nice job behind the plate in numerous aspects.
Evan Scribner now is warming up for Seattle. Changes were made in addition to Vincent replacing Paxton on the mound. Ben Gamble has stayed in to play right field after pinch running for Seth Smith. And Guillermo Heredia is in left field for Nori Aoki. That one cuts in on Marwin. He swings over it, and it's 1-2. Vincent is 29 years old, from California. He went to Cal State Long Beach. He came up with San Diego, pitched for the Padres the last 3 seasons, and then was traded at the end of spring training this year to Seattle for a player to be named later. Liner right center field. That's in for a hit. Martin over to play it, and it continues as Marwin is 2 for 3 in this game.
That quick bat. He's very quick from the left side, a little more classically powerful from the right, but right down and through the baseball. Stayed with it well.
Yuli Gurriel is 0 for 2, a fly ball to right. He grounded back to the pitcher. Vincent pitched a scoreless inning here Monday night, gave up 2 hits. And he got save number 3 of the year. That was in the 11th inning Seattle 4-3 win. Strike to Gurriel. Vincent also has a win in recent games. That was a week ago against Toronto. He got win number 4 of the year. Foul back. No balls, 2 strikes. Vincent spent some time on the DL with a mid-back strain. Came back August 7th. The Mariner bullpen is 23-22 with a 3.62 ERA. 48 saves in 73 save opportunities. So that is 25 blown saves for the Mariners. Teoscar Hernandez is on deck. Line shot left field. That's in for a hit. Gonzalez to second. 3 straight hits off Vincent.
A couple of nights ago, the Astros had no answer for the pitches from Vincent. This afternoon, it appears to be an entirely different movie. Right down the middle, right on the barrel.
Scott Service has had warm-up action in his bullpen. And with this lead and the threat for the Astros, he's not going any further with Vincent. 3 straight hits allowed. We're back in a moment with the score 7-4 Seattle.
Favorite team while throwing a birthday party at Minute Maid Park. For more info, visit Astros.com or call 713-259-8996. Jeff Plum, we'll see him in a couple of days in Anaheim, but he wanted to thank Brownie for the memories on Twitter today and gave a nice little note attached to the tweet. Brownie, I'll let you read that.
A special guy, Jeff Plum. It's been a real joy to work with Blummer. And well, you guys have so much fun too, Ash, on the road. So we've had different combinations of the broadcasters, but really nice of Jeff to take his time to do that. And well, you know, 3 more games after today, you and Blummer might be working some meaningful games. I just sent him a note and said, be ready for that locker room again this year, Ash.
Yeah, if you're going to make that happen, a little more pecking away is going to be needed today. But you're right, and they always feel big. We'll go out there and see what can be done.
Evan Scribner's in the game. Teoscar Hernandez, the batter. He fouls it for strike 1. Scribner pitched well Monday night in Seattle's 4-3 11-inning win. After Iwakuma went the first 6, he had a 1-2-3 7th inning, getting Correa, Gaddis, and White. He has a 0 ERA in 9 games for the Mariners. He had been on the 60-day disabled list. Foul back by Teoscar. No balls and 2 strikes with Marisnik on deck. Each club now has 9 hits. The Astros have the only error. With Seattle up by 3. Scribner had some rehab appearances in the minor leagues. He had been out with a strained right latissimus dorsi muscle and has done quite well since he was recalled from AAA Tacoma. In tight with that one. 1-2. So that's 10 1/3 scoreless innings for Scribner. Now the 2 inherited runners for him come into focus. He gets a strikeout. 1 out. That's big for Seattle now. Marisnick is being called back. It's like Tony Kemp's going to pinch hit for Jake. Marisnick had an RBI double in the 5th and scored that important run on a call that was originally an out call at the plate. It was overturned, so Jake leaves after that 1-for-2 day, and it's Tony Kemp giving the Astros a left-handed hitter against the right-hander Scribner.
You know, that's I just saw a great sight there with Jake Marisnick patting Tony Kemp on the helmet. It's hard to be pinch hit for, especially after you just double driving in a run. But you get pinch hit for, and you side up with the guy that's taking your spot. Good luck. Get a big hit right now. We need it. Great, it's just a great sign on a guy's makeup.
Tony's 4 for 16 pinch hitting, 3 runs batted in. Tony started and then stopped the bat. There's ball 1. Hit his first major league homer just a few days ago in the previous series with the Angels, but he's gone 0 for 8 recently. 2 for 15 on this homestand with that long ball to right field. He fouls it back. He had been hitting to the opposite field quite a bit, and with that drive to right field for his first major league homer, he opened some eyes. That was on Sunday in the 4-1 win over the Angels. Tony was 2 for 3 in that game, and his other hit was a single to right field. It's 1-2. George Springer on deck. Scribner is 31. He was born in Connecticut, went to Central Connecticut State. That's blocked by Zunino. It's a 2-2 count.
Also laid off nicely, very quietly by Tony Kemp after swinging on a very slow breaking ball on the previous pitch.
Scribner was drafted by Arizona, traded to the Padres in 08 for Tony Clark. Up and in for a ball, and now the count has run to 3-2 for Tony Kemp. Big pitch coming in this one. The Astros trailed 7-0 in the middle of the 3rd. Now they're down by 3 with 2 men on. Strike 3 call, and that's the 2nd out.
That fastball painted right at the bottom of the knees area. In fact, right through that kneecap area, front of the plate. Cannot take that one with 2 strikes.
George Springer's the batter. He homered in the 3rd. George 1 for 3. Here's the 0-2 swing.
Great power to all fields for George. Boy, the Astros could use another long ball effort from Springer.
Ball 1 to George. George has hit .250 with runners in scoring position. Marwin Gonzalez is the runner at 2nd. It's Yuli Gurriel at 1st. Outside and 2-0 now with Bregman on deck. Two balls, 1 strike to Springer. The Mariners' young closer, Edwin Diaz, has been outstanding this year. Suffered a blown save by giving up 2 in the Astros' 9th Monday. Seattle regrouped to win it 4-3 in 11. Breaking pitch, ball 3 to Springer. Astros have 34 come from behind wins this season. Springer with a shot on the ground. Cano is there to extinguish the rally, and the Astros settle for 1 run on 3 hits, leaving 2 after 6. It's now a 3-run lead for the M's, 7-4. Kubota, Roy Oswalt, 143 wins for the Astros, 1 away from Joe Niekro, who had the all-time club record. Second most in Houston history, but he was traded to the Phillies. Got some wins somewhere else, but it worked out for him as far as going to a World Series. But nonetheless, one of our favorites down through the years, actually.
Some people said initially he was too small, too slight to have an impact as a major league pitcher. Absolutely not true. Great arm, great competitor. Had everything that it took.
James Hoyt on the mound, 7-4 Seattle. Breaking pitch to Nelson Cruz is ball 1. We have a realignment in the outfield. Marisnick left for the pinch hitter Tony Kemp. He goes into left field. Teoscar Hernandez has moved to center field. James Hoyt in his second inning of work. Throws ball 2, 2-0. Three balls, no strikes. Big cut there by Cruz. Of course, getting the green light the way he's hitting, and with the score now 7-4, but unable to do anything with it. It's 3-1. Seager and Lind are to follow. Mariners have 7 runs, 9 hits, no errors. For the Astros, it's 4-9-1. 5 men left for Seattle, 6 men left for Houston. In for strike 2, and James Hoyt is trying to come all the way back from 3-0 to get the cleanup man. He fouls it away. Tal and Johnny Smith in attendance today. Final game of Tal's Hill in center field. Longtime general manager of the Houston Astros. Outstanding.
Fountain of youth going on there somehow.
Yes.
Both of them.
So he threw out that idea of a terrace from Crosley Field in Cincinnati when they were planning this ballpark. There's a walk to Cruz. And it was adopted. Drayton McLean wanted to have a ballpark that stood out from others, and he said that if you saw shots of all the ballparks, this one was the only one with that kind of a terraced hill in center field, and that's the reason it was selected. Now some changes are being made as far as opening up that area for a restaurant and bar in center field. $15 million will be spent. Towles Hill will be disappearing after this game.
Everybody gets a vote. For me, I like Towles Hill.
The center fielders do not like it around baseball, generally speaking. There's ball one. The pitchers don't mind the dimension. That's a long way out there to 436. But as Towle has pointed out, there really have not been injuries to outfielders.
None.
Going up that hill.
Nope.
Seager's 1 for 3. Inside for a ball.
There have been great moments like the Lance Berkman catch and
yeah,
Jake Marisnick diving on the hill. I believe that was last year.
He made a tremendous catch. Michael Bourne made some fine plays, and others have done that too. Now Brent Strom is coming out. He didn't like the trend here. Leadoff walk to Cruz. Now a 2-0 count on Seager for James Hoyt. But Towle was right there, the architect of the 1980 club, and now a suggestion he passed along about this kind of a feature from Crosley Field days has led to some very interesting plays, Ash.
There have been some great plays. I'll tell you what, that's not easy to be running hard and then hit that hill, but Jake has had some of the more athletic plays there. But this is the fave. I don't know how he caught that ball. And then he's thinking, how did I catch that ball?
2-0 now to Seager. That's in for a strike for James Hoyt. Well, with Towle's work in the front office, putting that 1980 club together, it was a very exciting time for this franchise, and then back to the playoffs in '81. But that 80 club was just a couple plays away from being a World Series club. Tremendous battle that year in the NLCS with the Phillies beating the Astros. 2-2 now for Hoyt. Nolan Ryan on the mound. 3-run lead after 7. And the Phillies rallied. There's a shot foul.
Yeah, I still can't believe that happened.
Richie Sexton hit one way over Towles Hill, way up on the flagpole. Craig Biggio tried to track it down. It carried him down off that flagpole. Sexton ran to third base and got a triple. So that ball would have probably been close to about a 480-foot home run, but it was stopped by the flagpole in play.
He said, wait a minute, didn't you see that ball hit the flagpole? Oh, yeah, that's the one in play, isn't it? I love it. I don't know, is that the only ball that's hit that flagpole through the years?
It really is. Here it was.
Look at this, way up there. And then it left a mark that was seen for years.
A strikeout for Hoyt. Follows the walk. 1 out. Cruz on first. Adam Lind will be next. He just looked dazzled as he gazed back out at that flagpole in play to understand why he did not get a home run on that. Now A.J. Hinch comes out. Pat Neshek has been throwing in the bullpen. The Astros actually have 2 right-handers now at work. And with Lind coming up, rather than go with Hoyt against the left-handed hitting Lind, he's going to have Will Harris. So Will Harris comes in, 7-4 Seattle, in just a moment. The DeMontrond Auto Group showing you the Mariners building a 7-0 lead after 2.5. Now it's 7-4. And this battle will decide who has a better record going on to the next series. The Mariners currently a half game ahead of the Astros, who are 2.5 out in the wild card race. Will Harris comes in for Houston. Nelson Cruz is the runner at first, 1 out in the 7th inning. Lefty hitting Adam Lind will be up. He is 0 for 3. Harris has a 2.13 ERA, 12 for 15 in saves. This month a 0.77 ERA, and against Seattle a 0 ERA. The infield shifts around. Carlos Correa is on the first base side of second. Jose Altuve just about in the middle between first and second, and he's shallow at double play depth. In tight, ball 1. There's the way it looks with Adam Lind, the batter. Martin is on deck. Will Harris threw a scoreless inning Monday night. Breaking pitch comes into the top of the zone to make it 1-1. Will has been scoreless in 16 of his last 17 games. Has allowed 1 earned run in 16 2/3 inning. Just outstanding this year after being an all-star last year. Two balls and a strike. Will has inherited 8 runners, allowing 3 to score this season. He had a club record 26 consecutive scoreless appearances early in the season. Tapped slowly by the pitcher. Here's Marwin Gonzalez tossing to Will Harris. 2 outs. Cruz advancing to second base.
Hanging curveball just stayed up, and the little dribbler ensues. Marwin continues to cover a lot of ground, and pitchers have been alertly getting to the bag with Marwin moving in both directions.
Leonis Martin is 2 for 3. Robinson Cano homered. It was a 3-run shot in the first to left field. That's how the scoring started with nobody out. Ground ball hit through the left side. Cruz coming to the plate. Tony Kemp with a throw. It's offline, and the run scores, and the batter gets to second base. 8-4 Seattle. Martin gets the RBI single and continues on to second base with Cruz scoring.
A little painful right here when you're digging, trying to get back into a ball game. Tony Kemp had a shot for a lot of guys. He just doesn't have an overly strong or accurate arm. And in the process, runner moves up to second base. Now, when you get a ball that shallow with a guy just coming around third base, you should have a shot.
Mike Zunino is 0 for 2 with a walk. 2 strikeouts for Zunino. That's strike 1. The run is charged to Hoyt, who in 1 1/3 innings allowed no hits, 1 run, had 1 walk and 1 strikeout. He also hit a batter. Hoyt threw 28 pitches, 16 strikes. Strike 2 for Harris. Bregman, Altuve, Correa are due up in the Astros 7th inning. The sun streaming through those panels above the left field wall. Runner going to third. The throw not in time. Stolen base. Martin, his second of the day, 23rd of the year.
Evan Gattis has been really good throwing and did all he could right here. In fact, that's a very good throw. Enabled Bregman to just catch it and slap down a tag. But that's just too much of a jump on your pitcher.
Now 1-2. Ball 2 to Zunino. When Gattis is the starting catcher, the Astros record is 32-15.
That's pretty strong.
Staff ERA is 3.33 with him behind the plate. in the dirt on a breaking pitch. Did he swing? No. On appeal to Adrian Johnson. Full count now.
I'll also guess that the pass balls are not happening at a high, or not pass balls, but wild pitches are not happening at a high rate. Done a real nice job.
Yeah. Paid attendance today is 21,187. Ketel Marte's on deck. Punch to right field. George Springer back. It sails over his head. That'll get another run home and make it 9-4. And it goes over the right field fence. RBI double for Zunino. That's his 7th double of the year. The Mariners have rallied for 2 here in the 7th.
Zunino has really been struggling with the bat, but gets the head on one. He's immensely strong and has the ability to mash some baseballs.
Ketel Marte is 2 for 3. Bounces one to Bregman. Alex throws on the run to first and gets it. 2-run score on 2 hits with a man left. We go to the last of the 7th inning. It's a 5-run lead for the Mariners, 9-4. The Astros 11-9, 7th inning stretch, the final one of the season here, unless there's a playoff game. Alex Bregman, though, has gotten back into the action, and here's a look at what he did earlier this season to put him firmly in that memory of the fans, and with great expectations for 2017 from Bregman.
Well, he can swing the bat. There's just no doubt about it. Defensively, he's got all the skills, all the instincts. I think everybody that's watched him feels like he's going to be a really good player for a long time to come. And we know he has the will and the ability to get back now from injury.
He's come back today to go 1 for 3, an RBI single in the 5th inning. The Astros now trail after they had cut it to a 3-run deficit. It's now 5. And Bregman up for the 4th time is trying to start a 7th inning rally. Scribner on the mound. He came in and got 3 outs in a row in the 6th inning with 2 men on base. And that's strike 1 to Bregman. Steve Cishek is warming up for Seattle. Jose Altuve on deck. Carlos Correa due up after him. There's a broken bat looper. Cano with the catch. T-Mobile shows you our greater coverage of baseball with Jose Altuve at 338, Dustin Pedroia 320, Mookie Betts 319. There's the batting race in the American League, and it would seem to have been decided with that 18-point lead for Altuve. That would be great for Astros fans.
Boston Red Sox are doing some serious swinging, but they cannot stay up with Altuve.
He grounds to third. Seager throws him out, and he's 0 for 3 in this game with a walk. Carlos Correa is 0 for 3. The way Altuve has hit on the road, it would not be at all surprising if he had a furious finish in Anaheim.
And against the Angels in particular. He's not happy right now.
Correa has struck out twice, and he's bounced into a force play. Evan Gattis is on deck. That's strike one. Scribner is pitcher number 3. Nick Vincent did not retire a batter, giving up 3 hits and 1 run with no walks or strikeouts. That's in at the knees for strike 2. That's hit hard to left field. Heredia going back. That ball way up on the wall. Here's Correa into second base with a 2-out double. Number 36 of the year for Carlos Correa.
Got himself a hanging curveball. A couple of strikes on him. He just shortens up oftentimes, but with that breaking ball able to yank it toward left center field. Not quite enough to get it out of here. Makings of a really, really good hitter.
Solid stroke on that one. He's aboard for Evan Gattis now. Gattis 2 for 3 with a line out to center field. He drilled a homer in the 6th inning, his 32nd of the year. Looks at the breaking ball. There's ball 1. Marwin Gonzalez comes out to the on-deck circle. Gattis in the air to center field. Martin over to end the Astros 7th. No runs, a hit, and a man left. 9-4 Seattle.
Follow Astros Baseball Live with MLB.com's at-bat app. Stay up to the moment with game day, StatCast, live highlights, and more, even at the game with Minute Maid Park's new Wi-Fi. Download the app for your phone or tablet today. It's a great sign, by the way.
Oh, yeah, I met with that young man before the game. Thank all of you who brought signs today, including Randy Koopmans. Pat Neshek at 2-2 with a 2.54 ERA. Has a whip of 0.85. He comes in for the 8th inning. Guillermo Heredia taking the first one. Gene and Barbara Coleman are watching out in the Denver, Colorado area. being the longtime strength and conditioning coach of the Astros. Neshek unable to get his man. There's a leadoff single. There's a little indecision there between the pitcher and catchers. Gaddis came out, and Neshek seemed to pull back a little bit. Then he tried to make the play.
There have been plenty of solidly hit balls by the M's, but there have also been a lot of softies in the infield, and the Astros just have not had a defensive response.
Bunt single for Heredia. Now Carlos Correa's in to chat with him. Ben Gamble's the batter. Gamble went in as a pinch runner for Seth Smith, hitting 154 in 39 at bats. He takes a strike. 1 homer and 4 runs batted in for Gamble. That's 12 hits now for Seattle, 10 for Houston. Gamble swings late. 0-2. Gamble's 27 years old, from Neptune Beach, Florida. Played at Scranton Wilkes-Barre last year, hit 300. He fouls it back. Altuve in on the broken bat play, and Correa stretches to take in his throw to the outfield side for a force play, 1 out. Heredia forced thanks to Correa because Altuve's throw was wide.
And no way at all to get 2, but pretty heady play to get that lead out on this particular play. Easy perception might have been too close to go that way, but Altuve knows the importance of that lead out.
It's close, but Heredia is forced. Robinson Cano hit a 3-run homer his first time up. He's 1 for 4. This one gets away from Gaddis, sending Gamble to second base.
I thought Evan was going to go out to the mound, maybe feeling like there could have been a cross up off speed in the dirt, and Evan simply tried to backhand it.
Ruled a wild pitch. Now the intentional walk will follow to Cano. That'll bring up a righty on righty matchup with Nelson Cruz with runners at first and second and 1 out. The Astros have thrown 97 wild pitches this year.
It would seem to be a really lofty number.
It's a major league high last time we checked. But it's not the kind of thing you check every day, right?
No, you don't generally think about that.
Thanks to Brad Osmus for the nice text. All the best, Brad. One of our favorite guys down through the years.
One of the best catchers I've watched.
Yeah. Strike to Cruz. Nelson's 0 for 2 with a couple of walks. Yeah, he was one of the instrumental figures on those playoff teams. In for a strike. 0-2. We were talking about former Astros manager Scott Service of Seattle and all the coaches on his staff, and thinking about Brad Scott, former Astros catchers. Bruce Bochy, another one. There's a trend there. A strikeout, and that's 2 outs. Oh, let's go way back to the Paul Bykowski in helmet days. It's Rob Matwick, the tall guy in the middle. Jim Deshaies. We were getting a tour of the construction of Minute Maid Park. That might have been around 99 or so. Not sure. Anyway, as you think back, quite a development here in downtown Houston on the east side, and there's now a whole lot booming in this area around it. There's a high drive by Seager way back into right field. Springer's out of room. That is a 3-run shot. And the Mariners blow it open with Seager hitting his 30th of the year, giving him 99 runs batted in.
Ball wasn't crushed, but enough to get out to straightaway right. Very strong left-hand hitter.
It's 2 3-run bombs for the Mariners in this game. Cano hit his in the first inning. Now 12-4. Big milestone. 30th homer for Seager. Cano hit his 36th earlier. And Cruz has 41. They have some bombers on this club. Neshek throws in there, strike 1. Adam Lind, the batter. By the way, the 97 wild pitches by the Astros is the most in the majors, and the second highest figure is the Twins with 81. So it's not close. Liner to left field. That's in for a hit. Mariners have had a field day with the bats. It started with Cano hitting the 3-run homer, and it was a 3-run lead with nobody out in this game. And they got another 3-run frame in the second with 4 hits there. They had had 9 hits after 3 innings. Now they have 14. Martin has 3 of those hits, and he has scored 3 runs. He's also driven in a run and has stolen 2 bases. Neshek delivers a strike. Well, Ash, you have had that great association down through the years with Joe Niekro, Ken Forst, J.R. Richard, some of the great pitchers in Astros history. A lot of good memories there for you.
I simply was blessed to be able to play with some of the greatest pitchers that have played in this game. And so, yeah, you know, the 3 no-hitters that I was behind the plate on, some of the best of moments, but it's the postseason that every player wants to be a part of. If you don't, you got it wrong in your own head. Those were the good times.
Fouled away for a strike. Jose Cruz, one of our favorite people, still works for the Astros. He'll be around hopefully for years to come. Enos Cabell also works for the Astros. Heard from Bill Wood today over in Comfort, Texas, former general manager who traded for Jeff Bagwell. Bill Verdon, an outstanding Astros skipper, retired in Springfield, Missouri. And you played for him. He was a tough one.
He was a good man. Really enjoyed playing for Bill. He was tough if you didn't put out, but should be. And you know, I thought he was as fair as they came.
Art Howe, outstanding player and a very good manager for this club. One of our analysts on pre and post game here today, along with Mike Stanton. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And one of the best of guys.
Yeah. You know, Bill Wood used to talk about when John McMullen was the owner, and when the Astros were playing on the West Coast, McMullen lived in New Jersey, and he wanted Bill Wood to call him after that West Coast game was over, even if it was 3 o'clock in the morning. He wanted to know the score, and then he wanted to go right back to sleep and talk about it the next morning.
My understanding is he only needed about 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, so
Okay.
apparently that worked in all right.
That explains it then. 3-2 now.
could have been, should have been a strike.
A couple of other guys who were fine people, still are. Craig Reynolds, Terry Poole live in this area, teammates of yours. The runner goes, and that's a walk.
Great people.
Yeah, we've really been fortunate.
Yeah, and you could go on and on, Brownie. Just what a blessing to be a part of this game.
Really is. Since 1987, let's see, 4,791 games, 16 playoff games, 32 All-Stars, 45 award winners, 3 Hall of Famers. Strike on Zunino. With runners at first and second and 2 outs. Nolan Ryan has been around this homestand, final homestand of another season for Nolan. Glenn Davis visited us, a couple of months ago for that reunion. Mike Scott was in. Bob Nepper was on that 86 club, managed by Hal Lanier. And a strikeout ends it in the top of the 8th inning. 3 more runs scoring for Seattle, 12-4 Mariners.
Out to congratulate you on a magnificent career, 30 brilliant years with the Astros, and now you found a time to go on to another life. So I send you God bless, hugs, and it's been great knowing you for all those years. No longer going to Houston, so I don't have to wonder what you're up to. But anyway, remember, we're all thinking of you. You're a great broadcaster, and those of us who have shared the time with you salute you indeed for a magnificent career.
He is baseball's poet, and for us, the greatest of all time. And they really came up with a surprise there, Ash. Did you know about that?
Not a clue. I'm in awe right now. I knew you were good, but now you've crossed on.
Well, he is such a nice man, and that's the enduring quality. But his broadcasting, of course, has set him apart. And it was so much fun, a great entertainment on the couch Sunday afternoon to watch his final home game, completely scripted in Hollywood, wasn't it?
Well, he is as good as they've come, but so are you, Bronny. And I'm really glad to hear all the people chiming in with thanks to you. I want to just pass mine on. You will be missed as a broadcaster, but most importantly as a person, Brownie. All the best.
Thank you. Ball 1 to Marwin Gonzalez. He is 2 for 3 in this game. Tom Wilhelmsen just came in for the Mariners. Vin Scully. 2 balls, no strikes. 67 years. And that tribute they gave him was incredible, wasn't it? Of course, the Dodgers happened to clinch. They were all on the field. It just couldn't have been better, and he's so deserving.
May I say, you were in the clubhouse today. A.J. Hinch really did it up right with the players for you in the clubhouse.
I want to thank them. A.J. called me in to his office, gave me a nice bottle of wine. Apparently Dave Roberts has started winery out on the West Coast, and it was from that winery. There's a line shot to center field, caught by Martin, 1 out, and totally unexpected. And then he said, I know you don't like this, but we're going in the clubhouse now for a meeting. And there's the bat Jose Altuve brought me, one of his bats, gorgeous bat, signed by all the players. Thank you very much.
Did you get a chance to give that clubhouse meeting you've been longing to give?
I just listened. AJ was very nice, very eloquent. Strike to Gurriel. He's 1 for 3. We've had such a great time. This is our 4th year together, Ash, and longer than that, of course, because you were a player in '87, and then we had a few years together, and then you came back as a radio broadcaster. So we've had a few walks around various cities, and a few meals together, things of that nature. Played some golf,
even a little tennis together.
Even a little tennis. Line shot to left field. Gurriel will head for second base. That's off the wall. Here's the throw from Heredia. A double for Gurriel, his 6th of the year.
Well, he waited beautifully on this curveball. Lashed it into left field. That's the kind of hitter I think the Astros feel like they have in Gurriel. Recent weeks have been a struggle, but that happens in this game. It can look so easy on TV and sitting in the stands, but if you get your tail up to home plate, you'll find out it's a very different looking game.
Hit number 11 for the Astros. There's a strike to Teoscar Hernandez. He doubled and scored in the 5th inning. But one of our pleasures is getting to know the other broadcasters, especially the Ford Fricka winners and the all-time greats like Vince Scully. So many guys. We had Milo here for so many years. No balls, 2 strikes. Harry Callis came through here on his way to a Hall of Fame career. He didn't stay here very long. He was in Philadelphia doing a wonderful job there. Got to meet Ernie Harwell years ago. Jack Buck, of course, was the voice of my childhood. Tremendous person. Fly ball to left center field. Heredia back for it. Martin is there, and Heredia was able to make that catch. And Gurriel went to third base on out number 2.
Maybe a little miscommunication there, or lack of communication, but job done in the end. Yeah, it happens for all clubs.
Tony Kemp is the batter. He struck out looking in the 6th inning. Bounces one to second for Cano. And on to first. No runs, a hit, and a man left. We go to the 9th. 12-4 Seattle. Baseball on Root Sports is presented by Southwest Airlines. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By Brake Check. Every fourth oil change free, even on synthetic. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Ninth inning here at Minute Maid Park. 12-4. The Mariners lead it. Brady Rogers in the game for Houston. And Colin Moran also is checked in to play third base. Well, in the Mariners' ninth inning, after they send 8 men to the plate in the 8th, it's Ketel Marte to lead it off against Brady Rogers, a local product, pitcher of the year in the Astros minor league system. Colin Moran at third there for Alex Bregman, who went 1 for 4 with an RBI. Rogers deals, and there's strike one. Brady, of course, has been a starting pitcher this year for AAA Fresno. Had a great season there. He's been in 3 games as a reliever in the major leagues. Breaking pitch is in tight. 1 ball, 1 strike. Especially nice to see a young man who grew up in this area come up to play for the Astros. Brady's 26 years old. He was born in Richmond, Texas, went on to Arizona State. He was an infielder and reliever for the Lamar National All-Star team. Fly ball out to center field. Teoscar Hernandez in. And it's 1 out in the 9th inning. Brady was on the Little League World Series team that beat Mark Appel's All-Star team. Rogers, a 3rd-round pick of the Astros in 2012. Fan Appreciation Day here at Minute Maid Park. Heredia bunted his way on in the 8th inning. We didn't add up the attendance, but it's probably about 2.3 million for the season. Let's see, it was 2,285. So yes, over 2.3 million for the year for the Astros here at home this year. Dan Altavilla is warming up for Seattle. 1-1. How about some other names from previous years? Billy Hatcher. He was a fun guy, wasn't he?
I remember the home run on the foul pole in that game 6, 16-inning affair against the Mets.
Yeah. The backwards home run trot.
Yeah, he would do that leaving home plate, wouldn't he? He wasn't trying to be Jimmy Pearsall either.
Flared over first base. Altuve digging hard. It's a single to shallow right field. Little pop fly. And Heredia is 2 for 2 off the bench.
It's become one of those days.
It is. Kevin Bass, who's quite a player.
Great friend. And yes, sir, he could swing the stick and he could play the entire game. Did we mention Billy Doran?
We were going to mention him next, but we need to do that. Yes. Boy, did he play hard. Gamble takes ball 1. Joe Sambito. Drayton McClain's ownership did a lot for this franchise and had a whole lot to do with this stadium getting built. Fly ball. Tony Kemp in and left, but it's Teoscar Hernandez with the catch. 2 outs.
We had some days when there was some youngish talent on hand and the team was already really good, but the likes of JR and Joe Sambito and Dickie Thon went down with serious injuries, and what could have been.
Yeah. Terry Collins came in, did a good job managing this team, has gone on to great success with the Mets. Those are the names we remember, and then many more down through the years. Doug Drabeck, Greg Swindell came in as free agents after Drayton McClain bought the team. So many good friends. Billy Spires. Robinson Cano, 3-run homer, 1 for 4 with a walk. Colin Moran over into foul territory near the stands, reaches over, and Moran has it for out number 3. We go to the bottom of the 9th inning, 12-4 Seattle. The Astros come up for the bottom of the 9th inning now against right-hander Dan Altavilla. He would be pitcher number 5. Tom Wilhelmsen in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, no strikeouts. Altavilla in for the 2nd time in this series. Ash.
Got one last chance for the Astros to strike up a big inning.
Altavilla worked a scoreless inning last night, gave up 1 hit and had a strikeout. Thanks to David Matranga, who sent a nice text today. He played for the 03 Astros. It's just so enjoyable to run into people from years ago, and friendships just pick up from there. Home attendance of 2,306,000 with this crowd today. The crowd today, 21,187, so the team surpassed 2.3 for the highest figure since 2010. So the fans who have watched this team rebuild, have seen it go to the playoffs last year, have seen these young players like George Springer continue to progress, and that's so enjoyable, just as it was in the Biggio Bagwell era, to watch these players develop right before your very eyes and stay with the team. George Springer homered to right in the 3rd. He's 1 for 4. Hits a chop, Altavilla over, tossing to first, 1 out. So it appears as if the Mariners will move on with an 84-74 record. The Astros will go to 83-76. They will not be eliminated though today. And we've been very fortunate to have Bull Pass, Gene Elston, Milo Hamilton. We talked about some others earlier, but there have been many fine broadcasters here. Dwayne Statz, mentioned Harry Callis. Bob Prince was here for a year or so. And you, of course, Ash, Blummer, Julia. Great times. Now Colin Moran fouls it. There's strike 1. This is his 20th at bat. He's 2 for 19. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter. And all the best to you guys on the upcoming 3-game series with the Angels to wrap it up. We'll all be watching.
Big thanks.
You're one of the few guys who could do both play-by-play and the analyst job. And that's been invaluable to us with these crazy schedules of people who will only work 100 games. Prima donnas.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, what do you think when you shut it down tonight or wake up tomorrow you're going to reflect on?
I know I'm going to be watching you, and then whoever's here next year in this chair, we don't know, of course. And there will be a good ball game in the 7th inning. It'll be tied, teams playing well, and thinking, you idiot, what have you done?
That's well planned out, Brownie.
2 balls, 2 strikes. But no, just the friendships, I think, more than anything. And the game attracts just so much attention to the people and their accomplishments, the trends, the various things that people get interested in baseball. That pitch hit him. But it's a little bit like a soap opera in the sense that you get to know the characters so well.
Yeah.
They come your way all the time, and you get to see them go through different phases, struggles. And as you well know, we've talked about this many times, baseball is a game of failure. We talk about it all the time, and that's what life is like for people. So I think that's why they gravitate toward baseball, to see how people handle failure.
So you're trying to tell me maybe that the batting champ this year is going to have failed about 66% of the time?
Sadly, yes.
Well, let's see him succeed right now.
Let's see him succeed as Jose Altuve is hitless for the day. And Jose 0 for 3 with a walk. Bounces one to third. There's Seager on to second, Cano on to first. And it's a double play, and the Seattle Mariners have won this one. Final home game for the Astros goes to Seattle 12-4. Paxton went 5 innings to qualify for win number 6 of the year. Pfister the loser 12-13. And this is a heavy loss for the Astros, who were 2.5 back in the wild card race. Now this pins them with their 76th loss of the year to go with 83 wins. But nonetheless, they are not eliminated. They still have life. It's the Mariners 12 and the Astros 4 in the home finale for Houston today.